All right,
No spoilers.
Well, we're moving into game number 2. We got a lot of people up in the air getting ready to jump out. Plane's going to go over the canal, making it a little bit rough. Maybe we'll get a quarry circle?
I mean, I'd like a quarry circle because I feel like the only alternative is going to be a military island circle, which I think is fine now. As long as we don't open up with one, it's okay. But I also think a couple of teams are sick of those circles. But 4 teams on Sosnovka Island, maybe those guys are placing their bets.
It feels like a safety play, saying, okay, all right, with this plane path, good chance it could go back down towards military. Let's just go ahead and firmly group here. And it's a lot of our teams that are really on the hunt for more kills, more points. Illusion,
True.
T8, Snow Patrol, Fable, all of them are set up taking a little bit of a gamble because with this many people on military base, if they have to leave, it could be a problem.
Okay, for Circle, it's not going to be a military base. That's 2 in a row. I think that's something that should be commended. 2 Erangel games in a row that aren't on military.
Poro and I had to cast a game that ended on the, well, pretty much on the Western Bridge. And I am terrified
I saw that.
End up getting that again. I mean, I won't complain, because let's be honest, it was a little wild ass, and I had a lot with it, so I wouldn't complain if it happened again. All right, so we got our circle going all the way up towards Georgia Pole, so everybody has a pretty decent chance to find themselves a home on this first rotation.
Yeah, it should be pretty good. Should be pretty good for a lot of them. I do worry, though, what's going to happen to these Sosnovka teams. Because you have Fabled on the west coast. They could easily hold down that bridge. But you also have Comets on the north part of that bridge. They could decide to hold it down. And if 303 or Elusive saw how many parachutes were going over towards Sosnovka Island, they could hold down the eastern bridge and block those eastern rotations. So in a way, by all these teams trying to hedge their bets and go onto Military Island, they might have just made their job even harder.
Yeah, this is going to be rough because a lot of these teams, if you look over the leaderboard on the left side, we've got to keep our eyes. Who's in that top 16? So whenever you're looking at the yellow, those are the guys that are in a little bit of a hazardous position, almost like a yellow light. It's at that point where you got to figure out, okay, stop if it's about to turn red and figure out what you got to fix, or just press pedal to the metal.
Just pump it.
Just go and say, I got to get kills, man. I need something.
Just go. Doesn't matter if I run this red light. Like, I just got to make it across.
All right, so we've got Carnage Gaming to keep an eye on. Fabled, who's creeped up, sitting in that 15th spot. 303 had themselves a good game, moving into 14th. But, you know, Clueless was very active inside of a lot what was going on inside that last game. Snow Patrol as well. With this, a little bit calmer of a circle. So maybe a chance to get your feet back underneath of you and then figure out how you want to progress from here.
This also is a good circle for SDK, which we should talk about because that's one of the teams that is, you know, supposed to be doing really good. And they are, to be fair, they are still doing very good in this competition. They're in 3rd place. Can't take that away from them. But it's a team that we always want to see step up and hit that next level. Alternatively, Sonics, they've hit that next level before. And even though last game they did get batted away almost a little too easily by Team Clueless, this is not a team that we've seen stay down too much for too long. And they're already on the move. It's, you know, it's usual leave Pachinki before 4 minutes timings for that squad.
I know the players get mad when we talk about it, but mental is a big factor, and we've seen it affect different aspects of whenever you're going through this. You know, like knowing the fact that it's going to be a Herculean task to move yourself into the top 16, or the fact that it's just going to be so much harder to move yourself up and get in that first place position while you had to watch a big performance that day beforehand. All of these things do creep into the back of your head, and phenomenal players have such a good ability to just be like, that's it, I don't care what just happened, reset, let's get back into it. And we got a little bit of drive-by action, vehicles not even stopping as people taking a couple of shots. It's going to be wild card, no surprise, going a little bit wild, trying to hit everybody on Elusive as they're rotating through. Meanwhile, Sonics, they had themselves a rough start in that last game and almost put themselves in a dangerous position. It's going to be H-Win that drives up, but look at that. Shrimsy comes in with a little bit of assistance off in the distance, and I was almost hoping that H-Win might just decide to run up there and maybe try to run over, but nah. They're just going to be happy to get their complex. Meanwhile, back over to the Wildcard and Elusive thing. It looks like Wildcard's driving around the Badlands, trying to get a little bit tricksy with it. Jay all day was expecting it, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Jay takes a ton of damage. There's another Wildcard member back behind him, and that's a good as 1 point delivered to Wildcard.
Oh, JRJ almost had a really nice drop onto Wildcard, but now that he is taken out, they can just retreat from the compound angle that the rest of Elusive has. I believe that's innate there, just to the south. Yeah, it's T-Sock and Fizzle that are going to be left And I think they're bailing. They don't want to stick around here because Wildcard might just be one of those teams that when they see they have this much of a man advantage, could just go aggressive onto that position. And so they're just going to know. They just want to bail. They're going to leave.
We were talking about that a little bit on the desk yesterday, that Wildcard isn't... that's one of the things I like about them. Whenever they feel they have the advantage, is how they're going to play. That means that you never know how they're exactly going to play every single game. It's not a formula with them. It's almost a lot more like feeling. Like, we think we can win this fight, so let's do it, is almost one of their IGL call position points.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to shamelessly interrupt you here because
Go for it.
there were already 4 teams on Sosnovka Island. Radiance, they definitely did not watch all the parachutes. They might not have been able to from where they landed. They're going on to Sosnovka Island as well because they think that it's going to be an easier path into the circle, going down the East Bridge and back up the West Bridge, than just going just west on the main island. We know that that's not the case. And Icy Flex on his bike is going to tell Baddylol that, wait a second, something is up. There shouldn't be, if this were a usual game, there shouldn't be a team that far east still.
Can we see the map for just a second? Because you can kind of get an idea on what we're talking about. The setup, 303 is making a rotation. They're pretty wide out in front of them. I don't think that there's anybody within about 500-600 meters. But it's starting to be a little bit of a problem back along that western bridge, as right now Fable is in the process of crossing it and hasn't been in a big rush. That has slowed down T8, who was watching that. Now they have Illusion that we saw just a second ago rolling back behind that. Don't forget Snow Patrol still hasn't even made a move into that position. And like you were talking about, Radiance got an awareness, saw what was going on and said, They now went back, recrossing the eastern bridge, but now it's starting to pop off just a touch as Wiem does get spotted out as Illusion's rolling through. And you can see that there are a ton of teams that are going to be driving along this path. Yes, run him over! I love it. Good play coming out from Ranger. Going ahead, secure that kill up.
Steezy potentially had an angle, but he didn't take it. He might just be waiting for backup or something. He's just not very confident in the rest of his squad's positions to want to take a fight. And you can see how widespread they are, that it does, make a little bit of sense to not go super loud, especially because this could easily bait Illusion to continue to go west and run into either Snow Patrol or Fabled, who are a lot closer to the bridge.
And it's kind of working. T8 opened the doors, just said, hey, come on in. Enjoy the views, see what it's like back over here on the western part of the bridge. So Illusion has now ran right in between them and is firmly surrounded by 3 different teams. You can see Illusion's going to hop out right now. Looks like they want to be careful before they decide to go across the bridge. But Snow Patrol is back behind this. Don't forget T8's also in a position for it, so this could get messy quickly as, Mitchie Boy has an easy shot right into the backside, and it's just Snow Patrol raining death and destruction on top of Illusion, even taking out their tires. I love it. Just deny everything from them.
You just got to kick them while they're down. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Like, Illusion, they were so focused on seeing if anyone was scouting out the top of the bridge that they just were completely ignorant.
Illusion sent it across the bridge.
They
just tried to roll through, and now they've run into Fabled, and they just get destroyed trying to make their way through here. That is just a mess, and you can see this is all just a cascade set of events of people thinking, hey, let's play safe off military base.
Radiance, when they watch the VOD, they may not know exactly what teams were here, and so by watching the kill feed, they may not know, but watching the VOD, they're going to know that they dodged a huge bullet. And now the circle shift pull is as far away as you can imagine from Military Island. It's going to be a Sunken, it's going to be a Ruins, it's going to be a North Pachinki Badlands finish. This is great. This is an amazing part of the map to see because of how the terrain leads into the different team fights. Wildcard, dead center.
But look back down towards the south. If you saw it for a second, free me please, now all by his lonesome, because guess what happened? T8 and Snow Patrol said, that's not a good idea. Fable is positioned, so instead, let's go back over towards the eastern bridge. Let's jump back into the blue, let's take a little bit of damage, and now are driving on the exact same approach and getting right up on top of each other as they're moving back into this. That means that one of these teams might opt into playing. They could just kind of drive, honk their horns at each other, but it could be a problem for both of these teams as they're going to hit the bridge at almost the exact same time. And it looks like Snow Patrol knows what's up. It's going to be Beams that's kind of leading the way for T8 right now, not to clean the sightlines. Meanwhile, Sonics, Liberate, and Clueless all look like they managed to get caught up in this fight just over here around Chopsticks, the northern area around here. Everybody should be familiar with these complexes. Very common place to where you see a lot of action break down at.
Ooh, I love this approach by Sonics. Even though Liberate started off the fight with the knock, they get the trade, and then they're wrapping around. Good old lobster pincer. Shrimzy finds at it. Mime also goes down. But a good trade by Shrimzy. He's really coming big, but Alo from the north is going to make this a lot more difficult.
It's just clinical at this point. 64 up, here's what's going on. Clueless is over there playing that dip, takes a couple of shots at 64 up. They're in a little bit of trouble, so it looks like they're going to reposition
they're
back
going
over
in
here. They're just going to crash the complex. They're rolling up on the other side of this. Third-party shots are coming in, so this is turning into a fiesta real fast. Shrimzy's the last one up for his team. This is a team that was aiming, trying to go for #1, and Sonic's now in a lot of trouble. He's just clinging to life on the outside of this, and 64 up just rolls in and says, thank you for all the hard work everybody's been put in here. We'll just go ahead and finish off Liberate. Now it's all just on Shrimzy. He's the last one alive, and you know it's got to be nerve-wracking. He knows Clueless is back behind him. He knows another team just rolled up. He doesn't even have a building that he's playing. He's just on the outside waiting to see if somebody steps through. He can hear the footsteps, and that's kind of what he's using for all of his information right now. A wall separating out where 64 up is presently playing at. Is 64 up going to assume that they got everything out of this, that maybe all the Sonics had already died? Or are they going to play this a little bit more defensive? They're going full on looting right now, but Shrimzy can't make the risk of going for any type of play. He's just going to sit back and hear all of this happening, and 64 up is going to be an even tougher opponent now that they have more tools to work with.
He really is trapped in this corner. Luckily, he has the the vehicle behind him to stop anyone from vaulting out of that kitchen window, even if it was just for funsies, which means that he can isolate his angle just here towards the east. And yeah, I thought for that 64 up would have had a little bit of a sense that there was someone left, but they seem to be completely distracted by other squads. But Comets, they're rolling up as well, and they look a little wounded. There's only 2 members there, but they could also want to see what's been happening in this building. Shrimzy hears the footsteps. Not going to check his corner still.
I like it. Play it safe. Those third-party shots coming in are going to be from shoot to kill or elusive both. You can see that shoot to kill is playing back over towards Everest. New circle pops, and it's going to be pretty far north from this point. So everybody that's playing around here is going to have to move, and that is a ton of teams. Shrimzy's now running out of options very, very quickly. So he knows that he has a squad right next to him. He knows that Clueless is back behind this. He knows that there's been multiple shots coming in from a third-party point, and he just has to hunker down. Finally, stepping around the corner, gonna take a couple of shots. That's gonna be quick pick up and flush, but now he knows it's gonna be a ton of people coming after him. Quick do-si-do around the outside of this. Gonna go ahead and try to get a little bit more meds, a little bit more time. Know somebody's gonna be coming around back from the point he was just playing at. It's gonna be points on 2 different aggression. Doesn't have anywhere he can go. Quick pincer, gonna go ahead and be good plays coming up from 64 up, but guess who hears this? It's going to be Clueless. They might opt into making a play because they are just on foot, and you can see it's going to be Comets that are taking the shots on the side of them. Gonna go ahead and try to pick up a couple of more points. These guys are playing to be killers right now, and both of them jump back behind the same tree. That's not a good thing to do. Luckily, nobody's taking any shots at him, but they do get away with it.
Yeah, Clueless, they need kills if they want to somehow climb their way into the top 16. They want to go big. And if you're going to go out, you better go out swinging. Molly's come in. Dirty Zin is safe for now. These are going to drop an underhanded defensive frag grenade, but Nitrogen gets popped off by Purdy Curdy. Again, SDK, they're just trying to third-party this as long as they can. This is going to force Clueless to go even more aggressive. Finds a shoulder. Pistola finds one.
Big plays coming out from Pistola time. Trying to find the angle back over through this. Has to be very careful. Going to have a little bit of an issue on the other side of it as 64 up is managing to take down most of his other members. He's now all by his lonesome. Only 1 kill coming out to the play, but gets back over towards it. Does get the knock. Repositions on the outside of this. Does come across the crate. Drops back down. Dirty Zin's going to walk back up behind him and quick pickup. Should be able to go run back over there and get the res, but these guys are going to have to move fast. As you can see, it's still raining death. They opt into going back into the building, but they're going to have to move very quickly. The blue is catching up to them fast.
Listen, 64 up are not in a strong position on the leaderboard, but we just saw 2 fights in a row that showed that one of their biggest strengths is going to be how immediately and how successfully they react to finish out these fights. First against Shrimzy, they just immediately double peek him from both angles, not letting him get any sort of opportunity to find a second kill. And then there, Dirty Zin rushes, doesn't allow a med kit before he even considers the revive. But as you mentioned, they're not in a strong position anymore. They got a couple of kills, but how much further are they going to be able to take this game? On the southeast side, the Comets. We saw them not far from that compound. They're pushing in onto the edge, but it's going to be 3-0-3. Putting themselves in a more central position. Sharp shot wild card with an even more central spot, holding that down, dropping Vox. Can they get the full kill?
Oh, it's going to be close if they can get the res. D-Rich just narrowly misses it. Oh, Landoon goes down as well. That's kind of the risk whenever you play the Badlands. You know you're in some trouble, and now D-Rich just has to gun it out of there. 303 going to find themselves in a lot of trouble as there's nowhere to escape this position. Instead, just reposition the vehicle, see if maybe you can get the res back over towards Landoon. Good play coming out from that. But the question has to happen. What do you do next from this point? Because you're not going to be inside the next safe zone. You're going to have to cross this hill, and you don't have a lot of tools utility to work with to teams that are firmly entrenched. And no, doesn't even get the res. It's taken from him by McCoy. D-Rich, what are you going to do from here? His vehicle is kind of left out in the open. That means the fact that it could have shots hit at any second.
Such a good start to the day for 303 as well. But 64 up, leaving their compound, the two survivors. And they're getting closer and closer to STK. I don't know how silent of a roll-up that was, but they do stop on a rock right before the compound. So I don't know how much STK was able to hear. But the shots are coming out, so they definitely have the info.
I like the idea. Oh, look at that. Civ with a nice shot. Going to go ahead and drop him down to 1. She's just going to have to roll by that and say, there's nothing I can do for you. But that puts him right in the sight lines of Comets. So now he's just going to have to roll into a very dangerous position as well. He's just going to get spotted out, and that's going to be a double tap coming through just to give him a vehicle explosion and send his car cascading into the hillside.
Now the Comets here. They've only been getting closer and closer to Fabled. But I think Fabled have a couple of attackers from the east side.
Radiance, yeah.
It's Radiance. Fabled are caught between two separate squads, and they don't have a lot of cover. If Comets, they hear this. They want to go aggressive and see if they can't catch a couple of tasty points for themselves.
Comets do have the hillside to work with. Fabled has to play this very carefully. Radiance trying to step away from this fight, but Fabled hasn't really had the time to go ahead, get the res back over just quite yet. They know that they're going to have to move, and good shots coming out in distance going to be Pentalo just to say, nope, you don't even get that res. I'm just going to go ahead and flush it out. Comet sitting on 3 kills right now in that 18th position. We still have Carnage Gaming up. We still have Snow Patrol up. All of them do have the opportunity to try to get themselves a good game, climb into that top 16, because it feels like it's just constantly getting more competitive around that mark. I think that Fabled has an idea that maybe Comets was approaching. Yeah, Tanaka looks back that direction, but Tanaka still has to crawl forward just a little bit more. Radiance trying to make their push up and forward is going to find themselves in a little bit more of a difficult spot as almost everybody is playing back over towards the east in the circle.
It's going to be Tactical 8 going out in 11th. There's a lot of fighting happening on the northeastern side. Comets are isolated from all of that. That's going to give them a lot of space, but you can see the big wide open field that they have to cross to STK. We already saw 64 up try, and they weren't too successful with that. And the Ruins can hold a lot of teams. Zenith are here first, but Wildcard trying to hold them down, hold them out, as well as Radiance from the east side. Radiance are just trying to third-party every fight here that our observers go to, it feels like.
2 members now down for Zenith. Radiance trying to creep back along this. They have their opportunity. They're just going to go ahead and foot rush it. Try to make the hard push as quick as they can. Roth is trying to defend the line. Takes a lot of damage, but does manage to survive. But he's going to have to retreat away from this. Trying to get the res back over onto it. Has to be very careful. You can see Leda trying to stick this one. Knows the fact that it's going to be close, but just narrowly do manage to get the res back over. McCoy is starting to get to a point where he's going to have to breach along the side. And this is a very hazardous place to play. You can see just ducking down kind of denies a lot of sight lines. A lot of vision. Gives a lot more opportunity to play. Everything's kind of sticking around Ruins right now. Let's see how the new circle pops. It chooses to stay around there as well, giving Shoot to Kill a good position to play from, as well as Wildcard. Zenith just has to be careful about this push coming up from Radiance, instead opting to go ahead and give them that opening section, let them go ahead and get a little bit of a foothold into this, and instead opting to defend a little bit further towards the west.
I like this. Zenith are forcing Radiance to have to come through a choke if they want to go that aggressive. But unfortunately, Keenan has an angle to sort of punish that, which means that Zenith still don't have a strong position. The nade's going to knock Leda, and I don't know how strongly Zenith can respond. You can already see them backing away. Mystery might be able to find the revive, but they might be expecting a follow-up grenade.
Keep in mind, Carnage is playing to the north of this position and could have a couple little different moments where they could kind of look back down, take a couple of shots. But Zenith on full-on defense right now, just trying to make sure that they keep their territory nice and clean, make sure that nobody else encroaches up onto them. Radiance not opting to go for any form of aggression just quite yet, but it looks like Zenith, firmly aware of Wildcard's position. Should be noted, Wildcard is running a very aggressive split right through that area, just on the outside of Ruins. Along that hillside, they have a 1-2-1 split all the way back down to what used to be called the Yellows.
They're still Yellows in my heart. I'm still going to call them that. But Carnage slowly approaching in. They kept Delta in on the low ground to catch some information, listen for footsteps around that area, while the other members of Carnage try and stay on the high side. And Zenith, they were able to revive their teammate, all 4 still standing, but 0 kills for them so far. They might start to feel a little antsy, especially considering how well they performed last round, but they're in a troubling position. Carnage going in on wildcard could give them an opportunity.
That's the big thing. Note how many of these teams are below that 16 mark. It means a lot of them are trying to play very defensive. They want to keep their members up. They only want to go for safe plays. Carnage, though, never one to really fit that pattern.
Never
these
safe
guys,
plays.
They're all about going for a kill if they want to go for it. Very similar to how we were talking about with Wildcard earlier. And they have a lot of control back over towards the north. Radiance is kind of creeping along a path that might be able to do a little bit for them, but that's going to be about it. Snow Patrol does lose 1 as well. Mitchie Boy kind of caught out in the open. You're just kind of clinging to a tree for life right now. That's not a good position to play from. But he does have a teammate that might be able to provide a little bit of support. He's just trying to fight his way out of here. Maybe get elusive to look another direction. Trying to step away from this. He's out inside the blue. He's going to take a ton of damage. Trying to jump in, but not going to get it. Was reinforcements coming in, but now you can see Snow Patrol in a doubly bad spot as one of their members goes down to the blue, and the next one now trapped on another tree, having to figure out how he wants to move forward. Instead, just running along the blue, trying to see if maybe he can get any shots into it. Fizzle doesn't have the sightline for it, so instead going to run right up along T-Sock, who does manage to take him down, and Snow Patrol goes down to 9th.
Zenith up here, they haven't moved. The circle shift so far away from them, they know that they can actually hold the line and pick up kills against Radiance and potentially Carnage. Carnage are the ones shooting at Radiance right now, and that might actually shepherd Radiance into Zenith's line of fire. At least that's what Zenith are probably hoping right now. They're just prone. They're just waiting for someone to line up with their reticle.
Oh, look at the shots coming out from Shoot to Kill. Herding Comets back over next to Elusive. I don't know if Comets is firmly aware of this yet because no shots have come out from that. Meanwhile, Zenith does get a sightline back over towards Radiance. This is going to force all of these teams to kind of be caught up, and it's a mutually assured destruction at this point if these teams don't manage to detangle. Carnage has an idea on what's going on. You can see that Ripper's starting to play a little bit further back down towards the northern part of the new safe zone. Meanwhile, Zenith just has no choice. They have to defend this line. They cannot let Radiance sneak up back behind them, and Carnage is using this opportunity to try to get into a potential gatekeeping position. Now it's all onto Radiance. Can they breach this point? Can they find some type of angles? Roth is going to take a couple of third-party shots in the back and force him to have to step away from this point. That might be an opportunity for Radiance to slow creep forward using smokes, blocking out those sight lines. Got to be careful. Molotov's going to land right at Waldo's feet. That's going to stall them, and every bit that you can stall Radiance right now is going to be a potential chance for more blue damage. It's going to force them to slow down, have to play this more casually. Now they're starting to have to get to a point where they're going to have to be aggressive. Roth is holding that outside wall. It's going to be walking right into it. It's going to be McCoy that goes down. Kickstart also playing along that path. Multiple members of Radiance going down, and the trap is sprung. Good play coming out from Zenith. Now they have a chance to get the reses back up, but they're going to have to move in just a second. This blue is coming in fast. I don't even think that they've got the time for it.
They don't have the time for Roth. They might not even have the time for Mystery, and it doesn't even matter because Wildcard are going to be waiting for them to leave. They know that they're about to run into a meat grinder. There it is. First shots come out from Sharp Shot. Laid it prone down first aid kit, but he's only delaying the inevitable. Hopefully Carnage can start something, but I think Carnage are beaming in onto Zenith as well. It's just Leda standing, and he's not going to go any further.
There's nowhere for him to go. He's got Wildcard on one side. He's got no way to climb up. He's just going to go down to the blue, so does at least manage to inflict a little bit of damage back over towards Carnage. Now the question comes into play, is Wildcard going to use this opportunity to pounce? It's just them over towards the north. We have 5 teams remaining. You're looking at Wildcard, looking back down towards Carnage. Shoot to Kill, pretty due up in the center of the circle. Comets do manage to survive back over towards the southwest, and one person still alive for Fabled, and that's going to be Tanaka. Now, is Wildcard. Are they going to make the play? Are they going to step up over into it? Good grenade's going to knock it. Going to get a follow-up grenade onto it. This is the time to pounce if Wildcard's going to do it. They're sitting on 7 kills. They know they've got the opportunity in front of them, and they are just dismantling Carnage. They're going to have the inside track on positioning. They're going to have the high sight lines. They're going to have everything they want as Carnage just instantly drops off of this, and now almost everything to the east belongs to Wildcard Gaming.
Very good hold by them. They were not sweating a single moment. When Carnage decided to put focus onto Zenith, that meant that they weren't able to spread towards the west. That meant that they were basically resigned themselves to the corner, which makes sense because going for the west, they'd be going into SDK, so might as well pick up these kills onto Zenith while you can. But in that corner, easy to land nades in for Wildcard, easy to get that sort of pincer crossfire onto a small little area that they had. And now Wildcard, they're moving forward, but Tanaka has been crawling in this entire time, the lone survivor from Fable.
Wildcard doesn't want to waste too much time in that position, and that could come back to bite him, as Tanaka might have ability to just kind of creep right up back behind him. Nobody on Wildcard very aware of this defensive line breach that they've got going on, but let's be real, it's also Wildcard. If you take a shot at Wildcard, they spin back around real fast. I was going to say, yeah, the moment Tanaka pulled that trigger, it was just a quick, nope, I'm not going to let that one happen. And now it's just going to be a full-on open area to the east that Wildcard has control over. Comets do have back over towards the west, but they have to be very careful as it's very open in front of them. Shoot to kill, having the few defensive points to play that really could provide cover.
Shoot to kill, they have the only cover. They have the only compounds in the circle, and it's dead center. I'm going to guess that they don't have that many kills. And yeah, they only have 2 right now, so they're going to want to pick up as many as they can in this endgame, but that position should give them good placements at least. Wildcard, they're actually able to push further forward. A couple of tags, but they were able to get the revive on their fallen teammate, stay as 4, trying to use the tree cover and potentially some smokes at some point while they can. I think they're actually going to be able to make it into the zone, at least momentarily.
We have 2 different teams playing along the edge. Shoot to kill kind of caught in between them, waiting for this new circle to pop in about 5 seconds. Good chance that Shoot to Kill's position is going to be in play just due to how centered up it is. And yep, it's going to continue to stay over in their favor. Now it's going to be Wildcard and Comets that both have to move. It's going to be about how they opt into playing this. Which team decides? Are they going to push back over towards Shoot to Kill, try to go for safety? Are they just going to try to flank around back over towards each other? Feels like Comet says, no, it's too hard to push back over next to Shoot to Kill. Instead, let's use the hillside and let's just push back over towards Wildcard. They do have a knock onto Sharpshot. They're hitting some damage onto Pentalol. This might be the opportunity, but they just don't have an easy way to push over there. Shoot to Kill can provide so much damage, and that's why you're starting to see smokes, grenades start to come out, but it's just not quite got the range. Comets doesn't want to overextend. Instead, perfectly fine with being in the safe zone. They're in a gatekeeping point. Now Wildcard has to choose. Do they push towards Comet's position, or do they push towards Shoot to Kill's position, because they are not in the safe zone, and there's not a lot of options in front of them unless they just want to become the biggest hippie and hug every tree that's in front of them.
Smokes are coming out. It looks like they're going to go to our SDK, and at this point, with this circle about to come in, or actually already coming in as it is, that's really their only option the minute that their southward direction was stopped by Comet's knock. They have a vehicle to push as well. Maybe they can get up into the building, but I don't think it's going to work out too well for them.
Tries to go for it, and that's a quick nope coming out from Shoot to Kill. Pentalol tries to go for the play, but got to be careful as Comets hears this. Yaxley's going for reposition off to the side of it. Victor could come up right back behind Wildcard, and they have to be cautious. Shoot to Kill might not give him the chance, though. They are just raining death and destruction right on top of Wildcard. Only 1 member is still alive, and it's going to be Sharpshot, and he is just caught in the middle of the smokes. Not a lot of territory to work with, so Comets starting to realize, hey, there's not a lot to be done over there anymore. Let's just retreat away from it, and Shoot to Kill finishes it off. Drops us down to 2 teams, 8 alive. It is a solid 4v4 with Comets playing the hill and Shoot to Kill playing the buildings.
I will say Comets were able, because of Wildcard's push, to push themselves towards the west, and they're able to set up a crossfire for SDK once they finally have to leave those buildings. However, will they have the cover to keep themselves safe until that happens? Because the center is still quite close to the compounds that SDK is holding down. I also wonder how many grenades that SDK have left, because they used a couple onto Wildcard, but they haven't really had to fight a lot. You can see 1 molly and a couple of smokes. I believe that was a flash thrown out. Might delay it at least for a moment, but good on Comets to not give SDK the opportunity to get even a single knock to open things up.
There's a point between 2 different storylines right now. Comets trying to play for their tournament life. They want to get into that top 16 so badly. Shoot to Kill, wanting to make a statement, get some wins, get some more points on the board, because they've been watching Oath and Sonics have massive days in the past couple of days. So now Comets have to figure out, how are they going to aggress? Luke gets the shots back over towards D-Treats. 1 member already down, but a lot of smokes being thrown back over towards Shoot to Kill's position. Like the fact that Purdy is just opting to play it brave, move a little bit more into control, play towards the smokes, see if maybe they can get some angles back, see if maybe they can catch somebody that might be aggressing inside the smokes. Don't allow that to happen, And now with this, Shoot to Kill is starting to get more control back towards the center point where everything's going to be condensing down to. Comets, still being forced to play back over towards the edge, could have a problem waiting for them in Purdy Curdy's positioning right now, as everybody else from Shoot to Kill is just waiting to see what information Purdy Curdy can relay back over. Victor's kind of on the other side of this, playing that same role that Purdy Curdy would be playing, but he's a little bit closer to the blue, waiting to see if anybody's going to take any shots. Luke goes ahead and gets the drop back over towards D-Treats yet again, but nobody on Comets can really step up. They're just kind of laying back down, seeing if they can get any vision, but Shoot to Kill starting to get a little bit more active, moving back along the side of the circle, slowly creeping back down into it. That's going to be another knock, and another one to follow it up. This is turning into trouble for Comets. They've only got one up and moving, and there is a lot of Shoot to Kill just coming after him right now. It's only a matter of time before it connects. 10 kills coming up for Shoot to Kill.